This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. More than 100,000 JPS customers to receive compensation for breaches. The Office of Utilities Regulation says more than 100,000 Jamaica Public Service Company customers will receive payments under the compensation plan announced on Thursday for breaches of guaranteed standards. The breaches were committed by the JPS during the period from March 2020 to September this year. The utility company is mandated to pay $220.9 million to affected customers. Elizabeth Bennett Marsh, a public education specialist at the OUR, said JPS will be paying the compensation in installments to affected customers for the 19-month period.
JPS would have asked us for a 6-month payment period. So each month they'll be making a 3-month payment. So for breaches that were committed between March 2020 and May 2020, for example, that would have been paid out in November. So the payment period will go from November to April next year. That's a 6-month period. And for each of those months, they'll be making blocks of 3-month payments to affected customers. I think except in the last month in April, it will be a 4-month because it's a 19-month period for which they're making payment to customers for breaches of the guaranteed standards.
St. James Municipality donates $250,000 to 10-year-old Mobay shooting victim. The St. James Municipal Corporation today donated $250,000 towards medical expenses for 10-year-old Kalisa Walker, who was shot and injured by gunmen during a high-speed car chase in Montego Bay on October 6. Montego Bay Mayor Leroy Williams presented the financial contribution to young Kalisa and her mother, Kellyanne Reese, at a brief ceremony at the Municipal Corporation building this morning. Kalisa was one of 5 bystanders who were injured in the October 6 shootout that resulted in the deaths of 3 men following a car chase into Montego Bay's downtown district. Leon Brown, a 27-year-old bartender of Williamsville in Montego Bay, 20-year-old Rashard Blackman Watson of Lime Tree Lane in the Glen Devon community, and 18-year-old Robert 1010 Headley of Kingston Street in Montego Bay were killed in the attack. According to police reports, the shooting was gang-related. During the incident, which unfolded at 2 p.m., Kalisa was shot in the head and suffered hearing loss in her left ear along with loss of balance and constant pain. She needs a cochlear implant surgery which cost US $50,000 or 7.8 million Jamaican dollars to restore her hearing. A cochlear implant, when installed, electrically stimulates the ear's inner nerve and helps alleviate hearing loss. Donations can be made at Bank of Nova Scotia Sam Sharp Square branch, the account number 1006493, or call Kellyanne Reese at 876-434-9497. 2 men shot in Elgintown, Hanover. The Lucy police in Hanover were today searching for clues as to a crime scene in Elgintown where 2 men were shot and injured by armed men on Friday morning. It is reported that shortly after 8 a.m., the 2 men were walking along a dirt track which leads to their home when they were ambushed and shot several times by armed men. The gunmen escaped on foot in the area. The police were summoned and the wounded men rushed to the Noel Holmes Hospital in Lucy. Last week, there was another murder in the community. The killing is believed to be gang-related. Man charged for Spanish Town burglary and wounding. A St. Catherine man who is alleged to have been among 2 others who broke into a house on Windsor Road in Spanish Town in the parish and injured an occupant during a robbery has been charged. Charged with unlawful wounding, burglary, and robbery with aggravation is Andre Simmons, otherwise called Messi, of Old Harbor Road in Spanish Town. Reports are that on September 11, Simmons and his alleged cronies kicked open the door to a dwelling. Upon entering, they reportedly robbed the occupants of an undetermined sum of money and escaped in Simmons' motor car. Simmons was held during an operation and placed in custody. An investigation was launched and an identification parade held, during which time he was positively identified. The accused is scheduled to appear in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday, December 7, to answer to the charges. Med arrest boosts security to crack down on indiscipline. The management of the Med Arrest Memorial Gardens in St. Catherine has mobilized the security changes to clamp down on indiscipline by some mourners. The reinforcement comes in the wake of Wednesday's fracas at the St. Catherine Cemetery, in which a security guard was stabbed and shots fired. Yannick Brown, a manager at Med Arrest, said that plans are in train to head off conflicts similar to that which disrupted interment proceedings. Our security team is still working on strategies to secure the safety of mourners, visitors, and workers. This is to prevent issues like yesterday from recurring, Brown told the news. We need to have a common understanding, as it is a business and mutual respect and understanding is needed, she said. The manager is urging mourners and well-wishers to exercise restraint in the conduct of final rites. Wednesday's scuffle led to the gate being locked for a period until it was opened by the police, who maintained a presence until some normality was returned. The main road leading to the cemetery had been gridlocked with hearses, resulting in delays for some burials. Several persons were detained by the police. Funeral home stakeholders said that safety is crucial to the efficient operation of the cemetery. The place started out all right this morning, and I hope there will be no bad vibes anytime soon, Marjorie Bennett, a funeral home employee, told the news. The place wasn't nice yesterday as people had to be running for cover. It needs to stop. FLA to recover millions in legal costs from court cases. The Firearm Licensing Authority says it is moving to recover millions in legal costs from applicants and firearm holders who lost their cases filed against the authority to reverse decisions on its board. The FLA says both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal have ruled that these individuals pay the legal cost of the authority. The agency says the most recent decision came from the Court of Appeal in a case brought by Robert Ivy, whose license were revoked in 2017 after an extensive review and investigation by the FLA of persons of questionable character who had obtained firearm license. According to the FLA, it was identified that Ivy had acquired a firearm license although he had a previous conviction in a foreign state and was deported to Jamaica. Furthermore, the Court of Appeal in its judgment stated that Ivy's decision to challenge the revocation of his license by the FLA was misguided according to the agency. The FLA says it incurred millions in legal fees to defend the cases and therefore will use all efforts to recover expenses paid for legal representation. The authorities arguing that the recent rulings of the court support the FLA's commitment to conducting fair, transparent, and detailed investigations for all applicants and holders and to validate the processes for denying or revoking license. Jamaican woman shot dead at a Florida home. A Jamaican-born woman was found shot to death at her home in Port St. Lucie, Florida on Tuesday. The deceased has been identified as 45-year-old Carisha Brissett. Relatives told the news in Florida that Brissett migrated from Jamaica to Florida several years ago. Reports are that Brissett's body was found by the Port St. Lucie police late Tuesday morning after a friend had gone to her home following her failure to turn up for work. The friend later discovered that the back sliding glass door was shattered and raised an alarm. According to the media report, officers found 13 spent shell casings on the back patio of the house. They theorized that Brissett was shot and killed through the sliding glass door without her attackers entering the building. Sergeant John Delacroce of the Port St. Lucie Police told the news that the evidence so far suggested that the murder was a targeted crime and not a random act of violence. Meanwhile, Brissett's cousin Karine Samuels told the news that the Jamaican had lived in Florida for approximately 10 years and recently moved into her house in Port St. Lucie. We both grew up in Jamaica, migrated to the U.S., so I knew her my whole life, Samuels said, adding that one would never have expected Brissett to be killed in that manner, as she was very religious and very into her church. She appealed to persons to help her family bring her cousin's attackers to justice. The Port St. Lucie police have also made a similar appeal for information to arrest those involved in the killing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.